Howdy. One of the items in the news this week was the 99th birthday of former President Jimmy Carter. Now, Carter had been president when I was in high school in the late 70s, and he's the longest former president that the United States has ever had. His presidency was not really all that notable, but his greatest accomplishment was a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt. Now, the two countries had been at war for over 30 years, since the day after Israel had gained its independence in 1948. But President Carter had negotiated with Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin, and they arrived at a peace treaty to end that 30 years of conflict. At the signing ceremony in 1979, Jimmy Carter spoke of the need to wage peace. He said that as aggressively and as determined as we are at waging war, we need to devote that same determination, that same dedication to waging peace between nations, to resolve conflict peacefully, to put an end to violence. Jesus says that the greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. The next one is to love your neighbor as yourself. Upon these two rest all the law and the prophets. And the commonality between those two commandments is to love. Love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. What Jesus calls us to do is to wage love, just as Jimmy Carter talked about waging peace. We're to be as aggressive about showing God's love, about being the hands and feet of Christ, about showing compassion to our neighbor, as we are that when it comes to conflict and when it comes to disagreement. We need to have that same dedication to forward God's kingdom, that peaceable kingdom, where we all live in the love of Christ and in the light of God. Thanks for listening. Adios.